Hey guys, Blaumagier here, and today I'm bringing you something new. And it is on the Wii. What could it be? It's obviously not a disc game because I don't have one inserted. So it must be something on my SD card. And this may take a little bit of time here, because I have a lot of crap on my card. Not like literal crap, I meant figurative crap. That would be kind of nasty if I had literal crap on my card. But it is actually A Boy and His Blob. Originally for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I actually do have it on the NES as well. But, you know, it's much easier for me to record it off of my Wii. And yeah, I'm just gonna reset it right there. Alright, here we go. David Crane's A Boy and His Blob. Trouble on Blobolonia. David Crane is the same guy that made Pitfall, so you may have heard the name from there. But anyways, here you are. You're this boy, and you've got this blob. And you've got an assortment of jelly beans you can go through. Up at the top, you'll see we have our score on the left, the number of treasures remaining, which I will explain in a bit, in the middle, and on the right we have our lives. There's also something that you don't see until you actually collect one that goes right next to the lives. I will explain that when we get there. Anyways, we start out in front of our house. We got the subway down there, and all the way to the right, such a long jog. Love the way that kid runs. We got the health store. So basically, the story of A Boy and His Blob, Trouble on Blobolonia, is, well, there's trouble on Blobolonia. So the blob came to Earth. I don't know if he was planning to find a kid with jelly beans, but that's what he found. And, basically, they're being oppressed by an evil ruler on Blobolonia, so he comes to Earth looking for help. And we see in the subway that, you know, there's really nowhere we can go here. But anyways, we could go straight to Blobolonia using the crap, which one is it? Root beer jelly beans, which turns the blob into a rocket, but we don't want to do that yet because Blobolonians are apparently weak to vitamins, or at least the oppressive ruler is. So we gotta save up some money to be able to buy some vitamins. And we got all these jelly beans, which let the blob turn into different things when he eats them. As you saw, the punch is the hole. I guess it's supposed to be like hole punch. And licorice is the ladder. Now, it looks like there's nowhere else for us to go, but there actually is. But you gotta be careful about it, because you gotta use the punch to make a hole in the floor. But obviously you have no idea which floor is the one you want to put the hole in and which one is death. I can tell you that you're going to have death if you fall on these two screens. But I believe the third screen here is safe. And in that respect, the game is a little bit trial and error, but mostly it's more of like a puzzle thing. Now, when you press the B button to call your blob to you when he's a hole, make sure you move out of the way unless you want to fall again, or else you will fall through the hole as it lands to where you are. Anyways, that's an enemy. You touch it, you die. Everything is fatal that you touch anyway. You can fall a little distance. I believe it's one entire screen's worth of distance before a fall becomes fatal. But usually you can circumvent that certain death with the umbrella. And there's another treasure for us. Now the spider web is death, and there is a jellybean that's sole purpose is to get rid of the spider web. But they give you 24 of them. I'm not sure why, because the only thing it does is get rid of the spider web. And that is the cinnamon that turns it into the blowtorch. I might be wrong. It might be able to take out the centipede things, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Anyways, we want to get our vanilla umbrella again, because the next screen... Now, you just want to take it slow, because even though you have the umbrella to protect you from the rocks from above, you can still, like, kick one and die. If that makes sense. If the rock hits you in the shin, you die. Of course, you know, with them being green, just like that. Like I was gonna say, with them being green, they look more like pieces of poop falling from the sky than rocks, to be honest. And if you haven't noticed yet, the boy kind of has slippery controls. Not so much when you're walking slowly, but if you pick up any real amount of speed, he's going to skid quite a ways before he stops. So yeah, I like to just take my time going across this, because if you don't, you can easily die like I did before. Alright. It's time to use a new jellybean. Now we will use the strawberry jellybean. You don't have to be right up on the edge when you use this, as he'll move over like that, but you can't be too far away either, or else he'll just turn into a plank and sit there on the ground. If memory serves me correct, I can just fall here. Yep. So that would be an example of pretty much your maximum distance that you can really fall from without dying. Tangerine jellybeans. You're going to be using a lot of these if you want to go for everything in the game. Not as much if you want to skip a certain thing that honestly is kind of pointless. On the trampoline, you hold up to gain height, and you hold down to lose height. But you definitely got to be careful with the trampoline, because it is easy to kill yourself. Just like it's easy to kill yourself walking under those guys. And that was the first time I've actually died to one of those guys. I usually can handle them pretty well. Let's see, I think we want to go left before we drop down here. So we'll make a strawberry bridge. I guess I could test out the blowtorch theory. Since cinnamons are now worthless, aside from that, let's find out, shall we? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, blowtorch is useless after you get rid of the spider web. Alright, nothing over that way. Over here we have a ledge. We want to use the licorice. Now, like you saw before, you can use the licorice underneath a ledge and he'll go just a little bit above so that you can climb up the ledge. You don't have to use it like out here and then hop onto it from the side. But do note that there are certain screens where the ladder cannot go through a ledge like this. And I'll point those screens out when we come to them. But it's only like 2 spots, really. I think it's 2 screens total. It might be 3. I'm going to be careful when falling here, because if you ran off the top, you would die. And with nowhere else to go, we're going to have to punch another hole in the floor. I like to do it on the side here because I'm not entirely sure what's on the right. See, there's actually a ledge here. I do know what's down here though. But usually the left side of the screen will be somewhat safe. Let's see, now we want cola. Now you actually don't need to come this way, but I am just for completion's sake. Now without the cola bubble, you will drown in the water and lose a life, so the bubble will be your way to travel through the water. And let me tell you, the water is the most frustrating part of the game. For me, anyway. Now, if you touch something sharp, the bubble will pop. So we can't pass through here. So we've got to head on back. Some things to note about the bubble's controls are that it tends to gravitate up as well as to the left. I'm not sure why to the left. Up makes sense though. And staying in one spot with the bubble can be quite a frustrating ordeal. I was not trying to do that. And unfortunately, this game does use an outdated life system, or lives system, I should say. Should I actually manage to get a game over, I will more than likely just end the episode there and meet you guys back where I was before I game overed. I'm playing on the virtual console, so you know I can't be safe stating it. Anyways, Honey turns him into a hummingbird and he flies through all obstacles to get back to you. Whenever possible, when you need to bring the blob back to you, you should use Honey. Ketchup will also make him appear wherever you throw it. He won't eat a ketchup, but wherever you throw it, he'll appear like this. But they're so limited in quantity, I think you'll get a total of 9 throughout the entire game, that unless you're doing a glitch run, you're going to want to use the honey jelly bean whenever possible. Alrighty. Now over here, we want the cola bubble again. And we will drop down once more into the water. Now, if we were to go right here, I think 2 screens. We will see that same stalagmites and stalactites that we couldn't pass. Let's see, I think it's 2 stalagmites and 1 stalactite, but some science nerd will probably correct me. Anyways, down here is where all our treasure is. And like I said, this is the most frustrating part of the game. Specifically, there's just one treasure that you want down here that is hard to get, and you do want to avoid those stalactites, stalagmites, whatever. I don't know. One of them's on the ceiling, one of them's on the ground. I think it's kite on the ground and might up top. Anyways, you do want to be careful here, because I think you can pop the bubble if you go too far up. I'm definitely not going to test the theory out now that I'm down to 2 lives here. So I will just float up towards the treasure and move on that way. And we will make our way back around left. There's not too much more underwater, but here is the most frustrating treasure in the game to get, because it's very easy to pop the bubble around those stalactites, especially that one on the left. Oh man, I am probably going to get a game over here. But anyways, I think I'm going to end this episode here, and we will pick up here next time. And if you see my lives counter change, that will mean that I had a game over and a scrapped recording. See you guys next time.